Every character needs their rival. When it comes to Bayonetta, her rival is this character known as John. She's almost like Bayonetta, like a literal copy of Bayonetta other than just them being two different people. She's literally just like her rival in power and everything. This John, and this John are three separate entities from different universes. They're so similar, it's almost no point in even differentiating between them. In this new game, they're into multiversal stuff, so it's even stated in the game that there are a lot of similar worlds, so there's no shock that three different realities that we played in the video games of John and Bayonetta had a lot of similarities. You know what I mean? So it makes sense. So yeah, no matter which continuity, she's on par with Bayonetta. So you have to watch the Bayonetta video I have on the channel and watch this one in conjunction to really understand her might. Even in the newer game's lore, just like in this continuity, she's her equal in magic proficiency, equal to Bayonetta herself. I mean, these two characters are so alike that even their magic spells or magic summons look similar. This is Bayonetta's Madama Butterfly. This is Madama Styx. Like, they're different demon entities they can summon, but they look so close. Like, her and Bayonetta are very similar on purpose. So she might not have as many visual on-screen feats, but she's definitely on par with Bayonetta no matter what. She's Bayonetta's rival, right intently. She's a witchy type character that's a very good hand-to-hand fighter with guns. Spends time, goes shopping with Bayonetta. The reason why I'm not differentiating is because when it comes to all the Bayonettas from every game, their lives were so similar that it's really no point in differentiating. It's the same thing with John. Even though there's different Johns in these continuities of Bayonetta 2, Bayonetta 1, and Bayonetta 3, they're so close to each other and they walk such a similar path with a few differences here and there. That's why it's really no point in really differentiating, because John is a rival in Bayonetta 1, John is a rival to Bayonetta in Bayonetta 2, and the same with Bayonetta 3. It's just a common theme. So that pretty much means she can do the punches that Bayonetta does. You know how magic people in the middle of their combos in this game universe, they open a circular portal and a big giant fist comes through to hit you, like a giant one, the demon. One could say Wicked Weave. John can do that type of stuff too. Believe it or not, Bayonetta and John have fought quite a few times. Think of them two having like a Dante and Virgil type of rivalry. Nobody can really say who's stronger, Virgil or Dante, right? In Devil May Cry series. It's kind of like that with these two. You guys already know about the famous ability of Bayonetta being able to do this technique called Witch Time. John can do this technique too. They're faster than bullets, even without Witch Time, when it comes to their fighting speed regardless. When it comes to fighting skills, she can fight other Umbra witches that are strong like her and still compete. To show that John is definitely competent with her fighting style. Like, they're basically mirror images when it comes to their fighting style. See how close and evenly matched they are? They always have been. Anytime you see Bayonetta do some absurd feat of physical strength, there's no John can do the same. It's just common sense at this point. You notice how when John does her portal to open up a demon so they can punch through the portal, that it's got like a similar leg to Madama, but it's Madama Styx. It's a similar demon, but it's different. Just like Bayonetta, she can do magical stuff like transform into the beast within. I mean, think about it for a second. Can you imagine looking at her in a fist fight from this angle and then out of the blue? Mid-combo, a magic portal opens up very quickly and a big old giant foot comes out of nowhere to try to kick you out of the blue. Can you imagine having to deal with a witch, magical, powerhouse, physical being like this? I know you probably think it's cool that Bayonetta and beings like John or Witcher type characters can summon big infernal demons that are actually cool with them to, they don't even have to really beg them to do anything. They'll do it on their own. Like Madam Styx, for example, John can use to get stuff done for her and they can kind of fly on their own and do stuff like that. But you know what's even cooler than them actually summoning these entities? Not only can they summon pieces of their body out during combat when needed, or just summon them completely to fight for them while they just sit back and relax, but just like Bayonetta, she can actually become one with her summon and literally fuse their powers, combining their powers together in one to become this super witchy entity looking dope as heck. In the lore of the game, they even debate on who's stronger, Madama Styx or Madama Butterfly. They both around the same range, even having similar weight, approximately 57 tons. This is the lore about Demon Masquerade, about how they channel the souls of demons and transform and gain new abilities. The only spell that we don't know for sure if John can do is the forbidden spells that Bayonetta can do. Like how Bayonetta can literally make her summons go Super Saiyan and unleash their full power by using her heart. I'm not sure if John can do this because we haven't seen her actually do it in Bayonetta 3, but there's a good chance she possibly could, but we don't really know for sure. It's a theory though. I mean, her fighting speed is able to keep up with Bayonetta even without Witch Time, and both of them have Witch Time on top of it. And look how fast Bayonetta's fighting speed is. They look at bullets in slow motion to show how competent she is. Matching each other's blows every step of the way, John. When it comes to her physical strength, she's physically, without even needing her summons, can physically bully Giant Angel like this, just from kicking it down like this, with raw strength, things that are bigger than an entire aircraft. In Bayonetta 3, there were sections of the game where their magic was messed up, so John just had to rely on her physicals mostly, couldn't do magical spells like that. She still showed physical competency, do stuff like this against big entities like this, regardless of her magic acting crazy to show her strength, which is kicks. Her magic power is heavily suppressed in this particular scenario. And she's still able to pull up on a missile and literally pick it up and throw it like that with her physicals, even though she's heavily suppressed magically. Notice how she mimics the movements of Bayonetta. Boom, 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 boom. Like, yeah, to show their strength. She's just a physical beast, kick you like that. Yeah, super kick. Proof of her magical power being heavily suppressed when she was in a certain facility in the early part of the game was, notice how in this facility, she's still able to use her fighting like normal, but when she tries to do like wicked weave type stuff or summon some entities for help like this, it's kind of suppressed in this. So she got to do it the old-fashioned way and just straight up fight like normal. And it shows that she's not helpless regardless of it. So for those saying, oh, they rely too much on magical power, that is true, but they still can fight just in general, and they're just physically strong as crap. Because I'm pretty sure normal human couldn't do that, you know? Yeah, magic power heavily suppressed. She's physically that strong still. Notice how their fighting speed is so crazy that even when Bayonetta entered Witch Time, John was still able to move while Witch Time was activated, even though Bayonetta activated Witch Time. This showed you, yeah, she can move freely. Yeah, you gotta have dang near way faster than the speed of light fighting speed to fight these type of characters. You can see literally everything's frozen. They are just chilling in Witch Time. And John's having a full conversation with Bayonetta while everything's literally almost frozen around them. To let you know, yeah, their fighting speed is absurd. We already know Bayonetta and her father have fought plenty of times, but John can keep up with them in speed. Obviously, she's her rival. Handbooks in the game's lore compare Witch Time and light speed to each other. So Witch Time is like their way of being able to achieve, one could say, light speeds because they can freeze time to a crawl, basically. Characters that John has similar speed to are stated to move with the swiftness of light. And this is before the whole demon masquerade type stuff to where she can fuse with her demons and increase her physical attributes, stats, strength, and speed even more than that. So yeah, they're way past light speed. More proof she's on the physical level with Bayonetta. You see how they're literally clashing leg strikes just with that kind of strength. These two literally got a Goku and Vegeta rivalry type of thing going on. Along with Bayonetta, them two are physically strong enough to play catch with actual missiles with their physical strength, like literally playing catch, like look, back and forth, back and forth. This is absolutely absurd. Even when they both want to spam their demon punches from other dimensions to help during the fight, John can still match Bayonetta. You can see them literally clashing blows, both of their demons. She's clashing with her physically too. So those that want to be hard-headed, they're literally right intently made to be rivals for one another, to be able to slugfest it this hard with one another. But just because they're rivals doesn't mean one can't beat the other. Like John has lost to her before. So anytime you see Bayonetta do absurd stuff physically, just know John can do similar stuff like kicking jets out of the freaking air like that. Matter of fact, at the end of the game, when John and Bayonetta was just chilling, they both did something similar to this plane, just like what Bayonetta did at the beginning of the game. So John could do it too, fighting alongside her and everything. In this occasion, you see Bayonetta deflect this angel's attacks, and guess who comes in to aid with a wicked weave punch? It was John right there. But one good way to understand how strong or powerful of a witch John is, matter of fact, John's magic power is so crazy that when in Bayonetta 2, when she was saving Cereza and got hit like that and got captured to the underworld, her soul's might, or soul in general, was so powerful that one of the demons in the underworld considered her power really refreshing. Yes, this demon right here had captured John and was feeding on her energy. This is where she was feeding on John right here. John's soul was so powerful and quenching to this demon. She was probably feeling herself, but this was her opinion about if she would have kept on feeding on John's soul, how powerful she would have become. Calling it so fresh, exquisite soul. You can see John inside of her. Like I said, she was probably feeling herself and just being cocky. She said, I can feel myself growing stronger and stronger. That soul's nutrition is absolutely magnificent, to the point she believes she could become the queen of this realm, like just from getting John's soul nutrition. That's her opinion, of course. There's no proof of it. But yo, that's saying a lot about John and Bayonetta's power. Queen Sheba is the queen of the realm. So obviously John isn't necessarily on the level of Queen Sheba because she's a god of gods type character, but simply combining with her, she felt like she would be able to bridge the gap to become Queen Sheba level just from having John's soul. That says a lot about John's power. I'm not necessarily saying she's equivalent to these cosmic beings, but the fact that this lower ranked demon thought just from having John's soul nutrition her, she was going to eventually reach Queen Sheba levels, or that would also mean equivalent to Jubileus type power, or God of Chaos, Aesir, all the 3 God of God type of characters in this universe, or multiverse of Bayonetta now. Not to mention Bayonetta's father like Baldur. We know Bayonetta can fight on par with her father throughout Bayonetta 2 game, and John is comparable to Bayonetta. Don't forget, Baldur on screen has shown feats of blasting a laser like to the moon and blasting the moon apart on visual screen, planet busting feats. All these 3 entities at the top are like equivalents of each other in their own respective aspects, like the God of Chaos, Aesir, Jubileus, Paradiso, Inferno, Queen Sheba. They're the equivalent rulers of their so-called domain or dimension. Keep in mind that beings like Jubileus can create their very own universe at will. When she had to face off against her, a universe. So stuff might be a little bit vague to you, but yeah, there's evidence that John is pretty top tier. Maybe not equivalent to the God of Gods, but pretty top tier still. But even if you ignore her being up there with these type of beings, yeah, you don't have to linger on that too long. There's more evidence of her power. The variant of her in Bayonetta 3 alongside Bayonetta while fighting this being known as Singularity, or supposedly on the moon together. These 2 working together as equals, technically, fusing with their entities, as you can see. And them 2 working together against this being known as Singularity did all this collateral apparently to the whole moon, or apparently a piece of the moon. Can't tell if it's the whole moon or not, but a big chunk. John was able to produce that kind of force. Helping out with Singularity or doing damage to Singularity is impressive considering who he is. An entity with different forms. Just to give you an understanding scope of why John helping out Bayonetta is impressive, this being Singularity's form right here, for example, was using the sum of energy absorbed from systematic destruction of parallel worlds, aka universes within the multiverse, to increase his attack power. Let you know he's using the energy from these worlds to increase their actual raw power. Beings that can effortlessly destroy cities. In this form, he has more control of the power he's absorbed within him. And in this pretty much perfected state, this being became one with the chaotic energy of the multiverse. Well, one could consider the universe itself. Like, he becomes one with the universe itself. He has gained control of reality. And John is helping out fighting against beings like this. Not in this particular form, though, but just to give you an idea of the threat we're dealing with. John was helping out in this form, of course, but this is still absurd. The leader of the homunculi threat. Not to mention, a lot can be accomplished when 2 super powerful witchy type characters work together in dire situations. If they can't cut it themselves, they can summon the literal Queen of Inferno herself. It's not something they probably could spam, but in dire circumstances, you can see John and Bayonetta summon Queen Sheba, ruler of the entire Infernal dimension, a universal entity, basically. I mentioned this in every Bayonetta video, but you know these little numbers down here, usually they have some form of unit of measurement in real life, but right here it just says infinite time, like they're implying like infinite punching power or some crap. You know what I mean? When you think about all the stuff Bayonetta and John can do, this punch right here with Queen Sheba punching Jubileus, the creator, across the entire solar system. I like how the anime movie interpretation showed how they both needed help to summon something this big, because if they didn't need help to do it, why would they just not spam this if they could just summon the Queen of Inferno anytime they felt like? It's not something they can obviously spam, but this is ridiculous on how they had to work together to do this. Pretty much summoning a cosmic being, one could say. But what do you guys think? Just to give you an idea of the raw power that Bayonetta and them have to worry about, beings like this can just split islands in half like nothing. Like this big old part in the sea, like it ain't no big deal at all. In this particular occasion, her and Bayonetta work together to fight this Kraken type of infernal demon, which is absurd. She pretty much matching her blows here to show they're like basically twins when it comes to fighting. See how they do? They punch, wicked, weave together. But at the end of the day, all of this could be just me, y'all. What do you guys think of John? We already know she's on par with Bayonetta. They always facing down universal threats, can summon a literal cosmic entity if the right circumstances are arise. If you consider Bayonetta a threat to the universe, you should technically consider John too, because she can do a lot of the same things, including fusing with her entity she can summon. Has a ton of battle experience, martial artist, 500 years old. But what do you guys think? Do you guys respect John? Did you know she was this strong in comparison to Bayonetta, or did you think Bayonetta was leaps and bounds above her when they're comparable? But that could be just me. What do you guys think? But before I get going, thanks for the donations, guys. It helps out a lot. Respect to John. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.